My girlfriend said, "I am investing in our future, not just my education. Stop being selfish." I said, "You are absolutely right. Our future is what matters most." When I planned a surprise graduation party and discovered she had dropped out 8 months ago, I told her our future definitely matters while calling her entire family to explain why the celebration was canceled. She begged me not to tell them she had been lying, but I had already sent them her withdrawal letter from the registrar's office. Here is how I uncovered her elaborate academic fiction. So I am David, 29, work as an accountant at a mid-size firm, been with Emma for about 2 years. She is 26, was supposedly finishing her master's degree in psychology when we got serious. Emma always talked about her education with this mix of pride and stress that made me respect her even more. Working full-time at a nonprofit while pursuing graduate school, that takes serious dedication. I admired her drive. My college experience was pretty straightforward. Business degree, decent grades, straight into accounting. Emma's path seemed so much more meaningful. "I want to help people work through trauma," she would explain during dinner. "Especially women who have experienced abuse. That is why this program matters so much." Made perfect sense why she needed my support. Grad school is expensive, and nonprofit work doesn't pay much. Of course I would help with rent, groceries, whatever she needed to focus on her studies. But looking back, some things never quite added up. Month 3 of living together. Emma comes home, Tuesday evening, completely drained. Professor Williams assigned this massive literature review, she sighs. Dropping onto our couch, 40 sources minimum. Due Friday. That is brutal. Want me to make dinner so you can get started. You are the best. I literally don't know how single students manage this workload. Wednesday night I noticed she was watching Netflix instead of researching, taking a study break. Just need to decompress for an hour. My brain's fried from all the academic reading. Thursday evening. Same thing. Friday morning. She is stressed about the literature review she supposedly hadn't started. I might have to request an extension. This week got away from me. But she had been home every night. When exactly was this research happening? Month 4, Emma needs $400 for required textbooks for her spring courses. Psychology textbooks are insanely expensive, she explains, showing me her phone. But I cannot do the coursework without them. Of course, education comes first. Week later I noticed she hadn't mentioned any of the textbooks, no heavy books in her backpack, no highlighters or sticky notes around the apartment. How are the new classes going? Good. Still adjusting to the reading load. Which textbook are you finding most useful? She got vague immediately. Oh, they are all pretty dense. Hard to pick favorites when it is all clinical terminology. Month 5 brought requests for conference fees, research materials, software licenses. Always education, related, always urgent, always around $200 to $300. Emma had perfected the art of academic stress performance. She would come home rubbing her forehead, complaining about impossible professors, ranting about classmate drama. "Dr. Martinez is making us rewrite our entire research proposal," she would announce, flopping dramatically into bed. "That sucks. Can I help somehow? Just having your support means everything." Most people don't understand how demanding graduate school is. Saturday morning, Emma gets a call about her thesis defense being moved up. "Professor wants to see my draft next week instead of next month," she says, looking panicked. "I need to hire that statistician to help with my data analysis." "How much will that cost?" $800, but it is essential, cannot defend without proper statistical support. $800 seems high for a consultation. "David, this is my future we are talking about. Our future. I cannot mess this up because we are worried about money." That is when she said it. "I am investing in our future, not just my education. Stop being selfish." I felt guilty immediately. She was right. Her degree would benefit both of us long term. Better therapy job, higher salary, more stability. You are absolutely right. Our future is what matters most. But something about the conversation bothered me. Graduate programs usually provide statistical support, don't they? And why would a thesis defense get moved up by a month? I decided to do some research of my own. Pulled up Emma's university website and looked at their psychology graduate program. Found the faculty directory. No Dr. Martinez in the psychology department. Maybe he was in a different department. Searched the entire university directory. No Professor Martinez anywhere. Monday I casually asked about her advisor. "How is your relationship with your thesis advisor?" "Dr. Martinez. He is challenging but brilliant. Really pushing me to produce quality research." "What is his specialty area?" "Trauma psychology. Perfect match for my interests." "That is great." I looked up the program online, couldn't find him listed in the faculty directory. Emma got flustered. Oh, he is adjunct faculty. They don't always update the website. Tuesday, I called the psychology department directly. Hi, I am trying to reach Dr. Martinez about my girlfriend's thesis defense next week. I am sorry. We don't have any faculty member by that name. He is supposed to be her advisor for the trauma psychology track. Sir, we don't have a trauma psychology track. Our master's program focuses on general clinical practice, so Emma had been lying about basic facts of her own program. Thursday, I did deeper investigation, called the registrar's office. I need to verify enrollment for Emma Rodriguez for insurance purposes. I am sorry, but we don't have any currently enrolled students by that name. She is in the psychology master's program. Should be finishing this semester. Let me check our records. We do have an Emma Rodriguez who was enrolled but withdrew in October. 8 months ago, I stared at my phone for 20 minutes processing what I had learned. Emma had been faking graduate school for 8 months. Every stress session, every textbook request, every late night study claim, completely fabricated. But instead of confronting her immediately, I decided to see how far the deception went. Weekend, I paid careful attention to her study routine. She would disappear to campus for hours, come back talking about lectures and lab work. Monday, I followed her. She drove to the shopping mall, spent 3 hours at various stores, then came home with stories about fascinating seminars. Tuesday, same pattern, mall, shopping, fake academic updates. I realized where my education funding had actually gone: designer clothes, makeup, accessories. She had built an entire wardrobe with money I thought was paying for her future career. But the most disturbing part was how elaborate the performance had become. She had created fictional professors, fake assignments, imaginary classmates. This wasn't casual lying. It was a fully constructed alternate reality. Thursday, I started planning something that would expose the truth to everyone who had been supporting her academic dreams. Emma's graduation was supposedly scheduled for May 15th. Her parents had been planning to fly in from Arizona. My parents were excited to attend. Emma had been building anticipation for months. Perfect opportunity for a surprise celebration. Friday, I started making calls, booked a private room at Emma's favorite restaurant for May 15th evening, invited her parents, my parents, her sister, her best friend from college, her co-workers from the nonprofit. We are planning a surprise graduation party for Emma, I told everyone. Please don't mention it. I want it to be a complete surprise. Her mother was thrilled. She has worked so hard for this degree. We are so proud. Her father offered to help with costs. Emma's always been our little scholar. This is a huge achievement. 2 weeks before the ceremony, I called the university to confirm graduation details. I need to know what time psychology students walk for the May 15th ceremony. Sir, our graduation was May 8th, and we don't have any Emma Rodriguez on the graduation list. Maybe she is walking at December graduation. She had need to be enrolled to participate in graduation ceremonies. May 10th. Emma's getting increasingly nervous about the upcoming ceremony. I am so anxious about walking across the stage, she says. What if I trip? You will be perfect. I am so proud of everything you have accomplished. Sometimes I cannot believe I actually made it through the program. Neither could I. May 14th, the night before her graduation, Emma had a complete breakdown. I don't think I can go through with it tomorrow, she sobbed. Go through with what? The ceremony? All those people watching. What if I mess up my thesis defense presentation? Emma, you already defended your thesis. The ceremony is just symbolic, right? I am just nervous. May 15th morning, I got up early to pick up flowers for her graduation. Instead, I drove to the university and walked around campus. No graduation setup, no families gathering, no ceremony preparations, because there was no graduation. That afternoon, I called Emma's entire family. Hi, Mrs. Rodriguez. I have some difficult news about tonight's celebration. Is everything okay? Emma didn't graduate. She hasn't been enrolled in school since October's silence. I am sorry. What? She withdrew 8 months ago but has been pretending to attend classes. There is no graduation ceremony. Her mother started crying. Are you sure? Emma's been talking about graduation for months. I confirmed with the university. She is not a student there. I called everyone on the guest list, canceled the restaurant reservation, explained that the graduation was fictional. Emma came home at 6 p.m. expecting to get ready for her ceremony. We need to talk, I said. About what? I need to start getting ready. Emma, I know you are not graduating. I know you dropped out in October. Her face went white. That is impossible. You must have the wrong information. I talked to the registrar's office. Your parents know. The party guests know. Everyone knows. She collapsed onto the couch. You told my parents. They were flying across the country to watch you graduate. They deserved to know why that wasn't happening. You ruined everything. I didn't ruin anything. You have been lying for 8 months. I was going to tell you. When, after another semester of fake tuition payments, that is when the full truth came out. She had dropped out because the program was harder than expected. Instead of disappointing everyone, she decided to maintain the fiction temporarily. I thought I could re-enroll next semester and catch up. So you have been taking my money for fake education expenses for 8 months. I needed time to figure things out. You needed time to go shopping with education money. It wasn't supposed to go this long. Where did you think this would end? Fake graduation, fake job, fake career. I was trapped. Once I started lying, I couldn't stop without admitting to all of it. Update 1. The family confrontation that evening was brutal. Emma's parents arrived at our apartment instead of the canceled restaurant, devastated and confused. We have been bragging to everyone about your graduation, her mother said through tears. We took time off work, bought plane tickets, new clothes for the ceremony, her father added. I am sorry, Emma kept repeating. I didn't mean for it to go this far. How far? Her sister asked. You have been lying for 8 months. How much further could it go? My parents were equally shocked. They had been telling their friends about their son's girlfriend, a graduate student. We offered to help with your education expenses because we believed in your goals, my mother said. We feel foolish. The financial breakdown was staggering. Over 8 months, Emma had received $3,200 from me for tuition and fees, $1,800 from her parents for textbooks and materials, $900 from my parents for research costs, $600 from her sister for graduation dress and accessories, total $6,500 for an education that didn't exist. Where did the money go? Her father demanded. Emma's closet told the story. Designer clothes, expensive makeup, jewelry she had claimed were professional outfits for internships. Her family was humiliated. They had been telling their community about Emma's academic success, sharing pride in their daughter's achievement. We have to call everyone and explain that we were wrong, her mother said. Our daughter isn't graduating. She has been lying to us for months. Emma moved back with her parents that weekend. They wanted her close enough to monitor and figure out what came next. You cannot live independently if you cannot tell the truth about basic facts of your life, her father explained. Update 2. 3 weeks later, Emma's deception had wider consequences than anyone anticipated. Her nonprofit job discovered she had been claiming graduate student status to qualify for certain programs and grants. We allocated resources based on your educational credentials, her supervisor explained during the termination meeting. This misrepresentation affects our funding compliance. She was fired for falsifying qualifications on employment applications. Emma's college friends found out through social media posts about the canceled graduation party. The story spread quickly through their network. Everyone thought Emma was this super dedicated grad student, her best friend told me. Now we are all questioning what else she lied about. Her parents made her pay back the money by selling her fake professional wardrobe. If you bought clothes with education money, you can sell clothes to repay education money, her mother said firmly. The psychological evaluation they required revealed Emma had been struggling with anxiety about disappointing people, which escalated into elaborate deception. She created a fictional identity to avoid facing her actual problems, the counselor explained. But the lie became more stressful than the original issue. Emma was required to attend therapy and take community college courses to demonstrate she could handle academic responsibility. If you want to pursue higher education someday, you need to prove you can succeed at basic level first, her father said. 2 months later, I ran into Emma at a coffee shop. She looked exhausted. How are things going? I asked. Terrible. I am living with my parents, working at a retail store, taking remedial courses at community college. That sounds like a fresh start. It is humiliating. I went from graduate student to retail worker because I couldn't handle telling people I dropped out. The graduate student thing was fake. This is real progress. I lost everything. My job, my apartment, my relationship, my family's respect. You lost things that were built on lies. Now you can build something real. Do you think I can ever fix this? With your family? Probably, over time, they love you. What about us? I thought about it carefully. Emma, you performed being a graduate student for 8 months. You took thousands of dollars for fake education. You were planning to fake a graduation ceremony in front of both our families. I know it was wrong. It wasn't just wrong. It was a complete alternate reality. I don't know who you actually are underneath all the performance. Final update. A year later, Emma completed her community college courses and was accepted into a different master's program at a local university. Her parents allowed her to move into her own apartment again, with the condition that they receive copies of all her grade reports and class schedules. Trust but verify. Her father explained to me when we crossed paths at a grocery store. Emma's doing well, but we are not taking her word for anything academic anymore. She reached out to apologize one more time before starting her new program. I have been in therapy for months trying to understand why I created such an elaborate lie, she said during our phone call. What did you learn? I was so afraid of disappointing people that I disappointed them in the worst possible way. The fake success was worse than real failure would have been. That is probably true. I want you to know that the therapy goals were real, even if the education was fake. I do want to help people. Then, do it honestly this time. I am taking one class at a time, paying my own way. No family money. If I fail for real reasons. That sounds healthy. Emma did complete her master's degree eventually, 3 years later through the legitimate program, with verified grades and an actual graduation ceremony. Her parents attended that graduation, proud but cautious. I wasn't there, but I heard from mutual friends that she had earned it, honestly. The fake graduation taught everyone involved that real achievement takes real work and real support requires real honesty. Emma's 8 months of academic fiction damaged relationships that took years to repair. But it also taught her family to verify claims instead of just trusting credentials, and taught me to pay attention when details don't align. Sometimes the most expensive education happens outside of school, when you learn the cost of living a lie.